guys, so this is my updated brow tutorial. Basically when I started off doing my brows I used a lot of pencil and I didn't understand the concept of where your brows should start, where the arch should be and where they should end. And I look back on photos of myself and I'm just mortified because I don't know how I ever left the house looking like that. So over time I have picked up new techniques and ways of doing my brows, and that goes for every other aspect of me applying my makeup. So my last tutorial, it was a couple of months back and I just kind of started using powder and I loved it, and I was raving about my Urban Decay brow box and that's what I still use. But since then I have understood a better technique of how to shape them and all of the rest. So I am going to give you a couple of tips before I start, but then we will get going. I think it's important to start on a base, so I think you need to grow out your eyebrows, then tweeze them and shape them to suit your face shape. So for instance, if you have a round face like I do, I need a lot more angular brows, and if you have an angular face you need a much softer curve to change the dimensions that you have. It doesn't work if you have round with round, so you need to change it up a little bit. So first of all, I think you need to differentiate which face shape that you have. Your eyebrows are meant to be sisters, not twins. It's incredibly hard to get them identical, so it's okay if they look a little bit different just once they're more or less on the same page. And I think overall I recommend powders over pencils. So with that I am going to get started. So for this tutorial I'm going to be using three products. This is my Dior brush in the colour Sable Sand, and it has a spoolie brush at one end and a pencil on the other. Then my Urban Decay brow box, and it is in the colour Brown Sugar. It is the darker one of the two. And then I am going to be using just this brow gel. It is turned brown from the amount of times that I've used it, but it is clear, and you can also use a clear mascara also. And that was only a couple of euro, and that's really handy. So what we want to do before you start is, like I said before, you want to have a bit of a base, so you need to have a shape there. It is incredibly hard to just draw it on yourself. That defeats the purpose. You might as well be using pencil. So you want to measure out where your brow should start. This is a little bit short, but you place it along the side of your nose and you want to mark there. That is where it should start. And then you place it at the side of your nose, and in the middle of your eye, this is where your arch should be. Just here. And then at the end of your eye, that is where it should start. So you just want to mark that. And that is pretty much it so far. So this is kind of blunt, but I'll still be able to show you guys anyway. I start on the bottom at the inside, and I'm purely just going to, I do it in sections, so I drag it out like that. I meet it in where the arch should be. Now up to the halfway point here, you're going to be dragging a top and bottom, but when you reach the arch, when you come down here, it is just going to be one line. You're not going to have two. And this is the part where it's important to have a sharp pencil, because you want this to be quite defined. You just want to drag it down until you have that. Now some people think that's too round from my face shape, but that's what I'm comfortable in and that's what I've been working with. So don't worry if you need to touch up at the end, you completely can, like I need to there. So I'm just going to outline this a little bit more. It doesn't need to be too dark. And that is all. That's all I use for my pencil. It's just to outline the shape that I need really. So in my brow box I have a lighter and darker shade. You get this really cute angled brush as well, and in my opinion that is the only brush that you should be using for your brows. So I'm just going to lightly dip it in the darker brown, and using the corner of the brush I just follow the line where I have just drawn with my pencil, and I don't round it, I just keep it in a straight line up to the crease. Then I want to dip it in a little bit more. This point onwards is where it's meant to be most defined. So I just drag it down like that. And this is where you want to fill in the gap. At this point I'm not going to take on any extra powder on my brush. I'm just going to work with what I have. and it's important again not to pass the point of where it should be on your nose. I know some people bring in their eyebrows quite far here, but in my opinion that just makes your nose a lot bigger. It comes out like in a triangle shape. So I'm going to keep what I have on my brush and I'm just going to fill it in. And at this point I'm just going to flick up can turn the brush sideways, but the idea is to just get a soft square finish, if that makes any sort of sense whatsoever. And again, you can come back and you can use a Q-tip, or I just use my finger because it's much handier, and you just want to scrape or reshape really how you want your brow. So I've just gone back and made the front part of this a little bit thicker and square. I did use a little bit more powder just to get the darker shape so that it was a lot more defined. So I'm done with my brow box, and this is where I use my gel. And like I said, this can be any gel. This was a couple of euros, so there's no point spending a huge amount. And you just want to direct the hair in one way, and you don't want to do it too hard and scrape off what you've just put on, but you just want to set your brows really. And that is pretty much it. Like I said, they're not exactly identical, but that's fine by me. I don't really have a preference. I mean, once they look decent enough, and I'm not going to be embarrassed leaving the house, because like I said, I was mortified to look back and think of all the people that I met when I had my brows drawn on. Why didn't anyone slap me across the face and knock some sense into me? Because wow, I can't even look back at the pictures. That has been it for this tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. All the product links and where I got them will be down below in the description box. But I hope you enjoyed this updated tutorial, and until the next time, I will see you guys soon. Bye!